AM 1110 Radio Disney's in your community. What's happening in your town? Who's making a difference in your neighborhood? Let's find out from LaFern Cusack now.
Good morning and welcome to Radio Disney AM 1110. I'm LaFern Cusack and this is your playground. Are you ready to be inspired? Well, you better be, because I'm speaking to Toan Lam. He is founder or chief inspirator of GoInspireGo.com, the multimedia platform that uses social networking to inspire social change. Welcome to the show, Toan.
Thanks for having me, LaFern. Thanks for having me.
I'm very excited to have you on. You are doing magnificent things here all over the world. Let's talk about Go Inspire Go. What is it and how do we become a part of it?
Well, Go Inspire Go is a multimedia platform, and we tell stories of everyday heroes. And at the end of all our blogs and the videos that we make, we have action items. And then we leverage social media to build community, to connect people, and to share the stories. And I believe that equation equals people being inspired to take action. And it all started because my dream as a little boy was to be a TV reporter. And after reporting the news for about 8 years, I was just tired of using my power and my talent of being a storyteller for destruction. And car accidents and bad news. So I thought I want to use my power for good. So I just, I ended up making a vow to myself to quit my TV job. And I always tell people, be careful what you think because your thoughts become your words. And be careful what you say because what you say becomes reality. You're manifesting it. And so I said that I wanted to quit my job. The next day I went in and I got laid off. And I was like, hallelujah! Christmas came early because it was in early December. And so I took some time off. I ate less, shopped less, got a roommate. And all those things are very hard to do here because I live in San Francisco. But I thought I am going to hunker down and do what I really love. And my passion is to inspire people to become more compassionate and to take action through storytelling. So I thought I'm just going to take a 3 to 6 month hiatus from my job, and I'm going to just focus on telling stories about people, everyday people that do amazing things for the community.
And Toan, you have a great story. You came in from Vietnam. Tell our listeners about that.
Yeah, everybody has a story. That's why I always tell people, don't judge until you read the book, or don't judge until you talk to people. And for me, my parents were wealthy entrepreneurs in Vietnam. Were Chinese and French descent, but they were wealthy business owners in Saigon, Vietnam. And at the fall of Saigon, when the communists took over, my parents wanted us to have freedom and wanted us to have a better chance of getting an education. So they packed their bags and we left on a boat. We were essentially boat people. And I was just under a year old. So we ended up in America and South Sacramento, California to be exact. And we ended up, all 10 of us, being crammed in one trailer in a trailer park. And imagine going from like a big house and having, housekeepers and people, on your team,
right,
and down to 10 people in a trailer park.
How was that experience for you?
You know what? I was so young at that point. We ended up moving from, different bad neighborhoods. And I remember going with my mom to the food bank and not really understanding what was going on. I just thought the area was really scary, and there was this big metal framed window that they would give you a huge bag full of almost expired food that they got from grocery stores. Mm-hmm. And I would see things that kids wouldn't see. I would see a lot of homeless people, and I didn't know what to make of it, but that was just my everyday reality. And for me, I feel like the passport out of that situation was my love for reading and writing. And I remember being in the shower and reading shampoo bottles, rinse, lather, repeat. And my mom's like, who are you talking to there? Who are you talking to? And I would read. I was a voracious reader. I would read, Judy Blume books. I would read Amelia Bedelia, Where the Wild Things Are, anything I could get my hands on and pretend I was the characters. But, I thought, how great it would be to maybe be a reporter on the news or a reporter on PBS, because I read, LeVar Burton Reading Rainbow.
Oh,
and,
that was my favorite.
Me too. Mr. Rogers, and I essentially kind of learned English that way. But, as a kid, being an Asian American, my parents were Asian immigrants. So my mom, in her sweet little broken English, she would be like, "You be doctor, a lawyer, or engineer." And those were my three choices.
Right.
And I was kind of, brainwashed, and I thought that was all I could be. And what ended up happening was I was very miserable taking, honors chemistry classes and things like that. And I always went back to reading and writing. So it wasn't until college, I went to the University of San Francisco, and I had a teacher by the name of Carolyn Weber, who was getting her romantic literature doctorate in Oxford. But she was doing I think a year teaching stint at the University of San Francisco. And, I was really scared to take her class because she came from Oxford, this really prestigious college.
Mm-hmm.
And here I was, grew up in a bad area, Chinese immigrant kid poor kid who never thought my voice really mattered. And the first assignment she sent me was, the first assignment she gave was to write a snapshot of an autobiographical moment. And so I turned in the paper the next week. I came to class. My palms were sweaty. My heart was beating. And she gave me the paper back, and I thought she was going to literally say, "What are you doing in this class? You don't belong here." But in perfect red penmanship, she wrote, "You're such a gifted and lively writer. What will you do with your talent?" And that, LaFern,
Wow.
shook me to my core. I still get the chills talking about it right now, because for the first time, somebody saw me, somebody heard me, somebody validated my truth.
That's awesome.
And so I thought I would go on and, go into the news and, tell stories that, inspired people. And, a lot of times in news, you tell stories of death and destruction, and I just didn't want to do that. So fast forward 8 years, I was, disillusioned by telling such bad stories, and I wanted to use my power for good. And I fundamentally believe that everybody has a power. Everybody can do something, both big or small, to make a big or small impact. And no impact is really actually that small, but everybody can do something to make a difference. And I do that because I love reading, writing, and telling stories. And, that led to then Go Inspire Go.
Now, just that story about your instructor and you talking about how words are so powerful. There are many kids out there today that may have a teacher that said something negative and they're still repeating that same negative pattern. But having someone or a teacher or someone that you respect say, you can do this. You are of value. You are gifted. You're proof of just what those words can do to make a child a successful student or a successful doctor or like you, a successful social media expert, and
definitely.
interviewer.
Words are powerful. So I encourage everyone listening to be careful what you say to your kids. Be careful if you're a child yourself. Be careful what you say to other kids, because your words are powerful. They can make somebody stand up tall, and then they can make them cry. They can make them hurt themselves. They can make, and bullying is very pervasive now that people have social media. So we're all about using social media for social good and spreading these stories like wildfire. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because I remember the school counselor in high school said that you're going to go to the University of San Francisco, that's expensive, and you want to be a journalist? And, are you sure about that? And, and so there were people along my path that made me second guess myself. But, there's a really special place deep inside of you. And, I learned this from my grandmother. There's a place deep down inside of you that, you know who you are, you know what you love. And, sometimes people will say mean things to you. And, you can't really believe everything you hear, because, mean things that people say, it's just a reflection of who they are. So I just thought, well, maybe I shouldn't do this. And then, I surround myself by more friends that uplift me and are positive and that are inspiring than people that are negative. So, you just learn that the people that are negative, they're your teachers. So when people say negative things to me, and I feel down and out, then, I talk to other people about it. I talk to people that care about me, and they help me through it, because it does really get better no matter what you're going through.
Absolutely. And since launching in 2009, Go Inspire Go has helped advance numerous causes. Now, GIG has multiplied the efforts of grassroots causes by documenting their stories and leveraging social media to inspire civic engagement. You talked about bullying. There's an example on your website, goinspirego.com, that talks about a young guy that invented a project to help bullying. Tell us about that.
Yes, well, this is a part of our 50/50 campaign, and I had this idea of taking Go Inspire Go to another level, and we did a crowdfunding campaign this past summer to try to raise money to just get this project started. We wanted to take our stories to another level and take it around the country. So 50/50 is 50 stories, 50 states, and we want to uncover an everyday hero in each state and leverage social media to get them the support and a spotlight on them that they need and they deserve, so that people take action to help them. So our first story we just launched about a month ago, and the story is called the B1 Project, because there's a kid in Arizona. His name is Matthew Kaplan, 16-year-old kid who started this peer-to-peer anti-bullying program that targets middle schools. And essentially his younger brother, Matthew's in high school, and his younger brother was being bullied in junior high school, and via social media and through texting. And he realized that some of them were actually his friends, his brother's friends that were bullying him. So he became despondent. He checked out. He just did poorly in school. And so Matthew took action, and he went on the internet, did research, and he started the B1 Project. And essentially what it is he trains other high schoolers and junior high schoolers for this one-day anti-bullying program. And he does all these fun things, all these fun things during the program to connect the kids. And then at the end, he asks really hard questions that open up the kids and inspires them to become more compassionate. And so it's just an amazing story. If you want to check it out, you can check it out on our website, goinspirego.com, and just click on the blog tab, and you'll see all the videos and the blog there. And B1 Project. And
Toan, a lot of people here in Los Angeles talk about the homeless and say, you know what, there's always going to be homeless people. There's nothing that I can do about it. But you highlighted a California hero, Tony Tolbert. Tell us about that.
Yes, Tony Tolbert is an amazing human being. Tony Tolbert is a instructor at UCLA and also a lawyer in the LA area. And at age 51, Tony Tolbert decided to move back home with his mother because he wanted to give his home to a complete stranger. This woman, a homeless woman, and her 4 children for a full year, and he would pay for pretty much almost everything.
Amazing.
And he said, here's a home, do whatever you want, decorate it as it is, make it your home. And it's incredible. When you meet with Felicia, is the woman, the mother who is homeless. Her youngest daughter was 1-year-old, and Felicia, when they were homeless. And Felicia said, you know what, I'm no different than anybody else. Because so many people, including myself, when I first moved here to San Francisco, I saw so many homeless people, and I thought, why don't these people work? And it's not that simple. It wasn't until I met homeless people and heard about their stories and heard about the mental illness or the tragedies that happened. I mean, I realized that what separated them from me was that I had a strong support system and people in my life that could help me in times of need.
Right.
So Felicia was living paycheck to paycheck, and when she had her daughter, Raylan, she fell behind on her bills, because when you are working and you are, women that take time off, they're on something that's called, quote, disability, and
right.
So they get less of a paycheck. So she ended up being she was a single mom and ended up being homeless on the street. And so Tony decided through, Alexandria House was where she ended up going is a transitional shelter in LA, and she ended up going there. And Tony connected with Alexandria House, and they found Felicia, who they selected because Felicia had an 18-year-old son that was just kind of bouncing around to different people's homes because he couldn't live in the transitional housing. They couldn't be a family unit. And so he wanted them to have just the basic right of shelter and have her kids,
Right.
she said, have her kids together. Felicia said that she really appreciated the simple things in life that she was taking for granted, like seeing her kids eat lunch together, seeing them play ball, them dancing in the living room.
Awesome.
And, he was able to give the home to her for a year. And gosh, when I met with her recently, this December, it's almost a full year. She'll be moving out at the end of the month. But gosh, you can feel the change and see the change in her.
Yeah.
She speaks very confidently. People have reached out to her. A life coach reached out to her and has been working with her for free. People have come out of the woodworks to help her family. And it's, when you give, you get so much more back. And what I realized is that Tony found his sense of home when he gave away his home. And he said that he spent so much time with his mom, got to know her at an older age, learned more about his family, and he realized that there are people out there in the world that fundamentally really want to help people, but they don't know how. And I love that he said that, because that is what Go Inspire Go is about. I want to use my power of storytelling to inspire people to discover their power and then use it to help other people. If you're good at reading and you don't have money, you don't have money and all that, that's okay. Well, guess what? You can go and read to kids at an elementary school, or you can help a classmate out and help them with reading if they're not good at reading or they're failing a class. Everybody has the power to do something big or small that has an amazing impact on humanity. One of the stories that we did sent 32 kids to school in Haiti for a full year. And that was
Awesome.
a youth project that inspired another youth project. And then it rippled out to sending 32 kids to school in Haiti for a full year. So, and that just literally started from somebody that I was mentoring who was in high school. And he saw this reverend that was from Haiti that lived in New Jersey, and the reverend wanted to build a high school in his hometown of Grand Saline, Haiti. And he, there's no high school there, so kids ended up not going to high school, or if they didn't have money, they just ended up on the streets.
Wow.
Or the furthest high school is about 5 hours away, a drive. And, if you don't have the money to go there and live, or even to, transportation down there, then you just don't go to high school. And so he wanted to raise $80,000 to build a high school there. And so he's $20,000 short. So one of my students, Julian Cohen, I teach at 2 universities here. Julian was doing a summer high school, a bridge program at one of the universities that I teach at. And he said, I really want to do a video that helps this man build his school. So what ended up happening was we uploaded the story, and all the way across the country from, mind you, this kid is from New Jersey, a school in San Jose, California, near San Francisco here, a band class saw it, and they really wanted to help, but they didn't know how. They brought to their band teacher, and they said, we don't have money, we're just high school students. And the teacher said, whoa. Go Inspire Go, at the end of all their videos, they also ask, what can you do? So what can you do? And the kids were like, we love music. And so single-handedly, with very little help from the teacher, the kids decided to do a winter benefit concert, and they raised enough money to send about 12 kids to school in Haiti for a full year.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so the reason why I say 12 kids to school is by the time they made about $1,400 from the winter benefit concert, I called the Reverend and I said, where did they send the check? And the Reverend said, well, we've done a lot of fundraisers and we've raised enough to build a school. But the problem is that there are over 170 kids that want to attend the school, and there's a waiting list. They can't get in. And I asked the Reverend, how much does it cost to go to the school? And he said $85 a year.
Oh,
can you believe that?
Wow.
If you have an iPhone, kids, your iPhone can send 5 kids to school in Haiti, right? Or your Jordans can send, your Jordans can send a kid to school in Haiti for a whole year. And that left me heartbroken. And I thought, gosh, $85? And so I brought it to my college class, and the kids were inspired, and they, on their own, made another PSA, or a public service announcement, that talked about these kids and about what you can do to help these the kids in Haiti. So at the end of the day, they ended up collectively sending 32 kids to school for a full year in Haiti. How amazing is that?
That is awesome. Toan, how does it feel to be changing lives and influencing people to be inspired?
You know what? I would say, if I could whittle it down to one word, joy. Because as a kid, I thought, wow, one day when I become a TV reporter, I'll make good money and I'll be known, and ego kind of gets in the way.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I did it, I was so empty inside. Because once you reach it, you're just like, okay, and? But it isn't until you discover that power. And sure, I want you to do well do well for yourself with your talents and your power and all that. But also when you give it away, like Tony Tolbert has given it away, that's when you feel joy. And you don't experience that until you give away what you have. And all of us, we have the power to give. You can give a smile.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody on the playground that you see during lunch is eating lunch alone, you have the power to walk up to them and be friends with them, and to talk to them and make them feel less lonely. It's something that small that ripples out to meaningful changes. And for me, I didn't think I'm going to help all these people.
Yeah.
Everything big. If you think about a big oak tree, it starts off with a single seed. And when I thought Go Inspire Go, I thought, okay, 4 years ago, I want to help, just one person help somebody else. And then I just thought, well, you know what? I have more people in my network. I have more friends than that. And I said, maybe if 5 people help 5 others, that would be great. So honestly, if 25 people, my friends and family would watch and share, that's all I cared about.
Oh.
Well, fast forward, 4 years later, hundreds of thousands of people have watched.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
That's
and
amazing.
so much impact, has happened, that we talked about. There's an impact section on our page. And, now I'm talking to a couple of networks to possibly do a TV show based on everyday heroes.
And you should.
And leveraging support for them. Yeah!
Yes, right on. Toan, this is great. So if kids out there want to come to your website and they have a great story to share, what would be the process?
Awesome. So you would go to goinspirego.com, and you would just click on the contact link or the tab. So click on the contact tab, and then you just shoot us an email, and we'll get it, and we'll reach back out to you. But it's so easy to use your power to help others. You just have to be present enough to say, I want to make a difference. That's where it starts. That's where you plant the seed.
Yeah. And like we talked about, the 50-50, where you're going around to 50 states. Now, do you travel to all of these places to interview, or is it sourced out?
Yeah, so I have this idea, since a lot of our stories of telling authentic stories and then leveraging social media to inspire action has, that equation has worked. I thought, what if we had an organized way to do kind of like Go Inspire Go 2.0, and to travel across the country here in America and uncover an everyday hero in each state. It's called the 50-50 campaign. And so we crowdsourced story ideas and crowdsourced funding, and we ended up raising $35,000 to get started on 5 stories. We've gone to New York, Florida, Atlanta, Arizona, and here in California. Now we are working on production of those stories. And then we are talking to a few networks to hopefully expand the program and to do all 50 states. So we had enough money to do 5 stories, because it's expensive to try to
absolutely
produce all these stories and travel.
And Toan, we talked a little bit about Gig Spark. Tell us more about that.
Gig Spark, Gig is the acronym. It's short for Go Inspire Go. And Gig Spark is a program that I created that for the youth. It's a multimedia program. There's a toolkit on our site that has all the information. Essentially what it is it asks the youth a few simple questions. One is, what is the problem in your community? 2 is, how can you be the change? What actions can you take? And 3 is, on the website, there's a toolkit on how to shoot and edit a quick story. And you can get your teacher or other friends that know how to shoot and edit video to help you. And you upload the story. You send us the email with the link after you upload it on YouTube. And we take a look at it. And if you followed all the instructions, we share it with the world.
That is great. And you not only highlight people that are doing good, you highlight organizations and spotlight these organizations that are just changing the lives of children everywhere.
Yes, we have another program called Social Good Spotlight, and we blog about organizations, nonprofit organizations that do amazing things for the world. And we tell their story in a nice little blog, and we share that with the world. So if you have created an organization like the B1 Project, or you know people that are doing amazing things out there in the world, whether they're everyday heroes or they run organizations, please send it to us, and we will, we'll connect with you.
Toan, what do you see next for GoInspireGo.com?
Well, we are talking to a couple of networks to create
the television show.
Yeah.
Yes.
To create a television show about everyday heroes and inspiring people through social media to help them and to take action. So we're talking to a few places. We're always welcoming other people that want to collaborate with us, whether it's radio or TV, other networks. But, my goal is to inspire as many people as possible in the world to think about what they can do to help other people. It's as simple as that. The first question that you can ask yourself is, what can you do?
And I love that. What can you do? And you definitely are doing that with GoInspireGo.com. I'm totally inspired by you, Toan.
Thank you so much, LaFern, for sharing your story.
And again,
thank you for listening.
Oh, thank you. And again, tell our listeners how they can get involved with Go Inspire Go and be a part of making a change in our world.
You can go to GoInspireGo.com and then click on the Contact tab and shoot us an email. We'd love to hear from you. We're also always on social media, so go to our website. On our website, there are social media icons, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, that you can email or tweet us stories, and we'd love to connect with you. And maybe the next story we share is your story or somebody you know.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Toan Lam, gig founder, GoInspireGo.com.
Thanks for having me, LaFern.
Go Inspire Go's mission is to set up a global platform for audiences to see and share inspirational stories. Viewers will discover and use their power, talents, and resources to better their community. Go Inspire Go believes you have the ability to help others. They believe that everyone, regardless of age, status, or money, has the potential to be a better person. What do you like to do? What is your talent? What resources do you have that can make a major impact on someone else's life? They see inspiration around every day. Extend a hand to someone in need. Open a door for a stranger. An anonymous act of kindness or smile. Go Inspire Go uses social networking to inspire social change. For more information, please log on to GoInspireGo.com. I'm LaFern Cusack, and this is your playground here on Radio Disney AM 1110.
Community matters, and we're your eyes and ears for what's going down in your town. We'll be back next week on AM 1110 Radio Disney.